Inside the Music with Riddick.
Conversations inside the music, where we discuss the topics you think about when you're chilling with your fuzzy slippers and your onesie.
Yeah! Welcome to Conversations Inside the Music with Carol Riddick.
What's the deal? Yours truly, the magnificent DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Hi, this is Jill Scott, a.k.a. Jilly de Philadelphia.
Hey, this is Gerald Beasley.
Conversations inside the music.
With my dear friend, the amazing Carol Riddick.
So get ready to join in on the conversation and chill with us on another edition of Conversations Inside the Music with Carol Riddick.
Well, hello, and welcome to today's edition of Conversations Inside the Music. I'm your host, Carol Riddick, and our guest today is a native Philadelphian who is widely known across the globe. Some of his accomplishments include record promoter, A&R director, event production, and management. He is whom I consider to be the first music industry insider, and he is an influencer whose reach has extended in the more recent past to social media. And he will soon add author to his list of accomplishments with his debut book coming out on 12/20/20, which is also his birthday. Family, welcome to today's conversation with the first Out Da Limo, Mr. Charlie Mack.
Well, it's 2020 now, so we're going first out the SUVs now, or the sprinters, you know, according to what you like, you know.
I'm going to stick with SUVs. I like SUVs.
Yes. So first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to come on your platform, for welcoming me. I'm very humbled, and I appreciate it. You know what I mean? That you would actually find me to be interested enough. So when I have me on your platform to talk to your people, you know, in this space that we're in right now.
You say you're welcome and thank you. I've talked about this with so many people, and I've told them, you know, you in my very first tour was such a protector.
We're going to rest in it, but we're going to have peace.
And, you know, you said that as only you could. You've told me in past conversations about being a servant, and I've told people about my experience with you, as I just mentioned on our my very first tour. So why is being of service so fulfilling to you, or how?
Well, first and foremost, how it came to be, 1985, the summer of 1985, I was a street pharmaceutical agent at the time, okay? And I was embarking on all the wrong things in my life at that point in time. You know, I was a young 20-year-old growing up in Southwest Philadelphia, and everything that was wrong, my father, he'd always liken it to say, you know, you are a magnet to trouble. He said, I have 9 children, but whenever the phone would ring, I knew it was always about Charles Earl. So that's my family name, Charles Earl. It's all run together. You know, country people, they run it together. Mayor Francis, you know what I mean? It's all one. So mine it wasn't Earl, it was with a Z, Charles Earl, right? So he said, whenever the phone rang, I knew it was always about Charles Earl, right? And I'm like, that's just sad, first and foremost, that my father would think that about me. And then I had to look at it for what he said. It was like, okay, so you think of me that I'm trouble. I'm essentially slut rock, if you will. And it just didn't feel right that my father thought that of his oldest child, which happened to be a son. I'm like, that's just not good. You know what I mean? And so, of course, at that moment, you know, I got caught up. I was in a crap game. I was playing craps over at a playground called Myers Recreation Center over on 58th and 57th and King Sesson. And we were gambling. Me and a bunch of other guys, we were gambling. And one guy, he had lost money. He lost the money. And he was like, damn, you're not going to give me an opportunity to win my money back? I said, man, listen, man. I said, you lost, next. I kind of just played him off to the side. But he was a bona fide killer. He was known killer, period, point blank. But again, at that stage of my life, me at 19, 20 years old, I'm a hothead. I'm 6'7", I'm 250 plus pounds. You know, I'm having it my way. I'm getting money from every which way. I'm just having it my way. I'm the Burger King, for sure. You know what I mean? I don't care about nobody. Ain't nobody doing nothing to me, period, point blank. I don't care who you are. Now, granted, at that point in time, for me, everything was about my hands. I came up Southwest Philly. I knock people out, yes, but I wasn't a gun-toting person. But I fight any and everybody every day, all day. You could get that out of me, period, point blank. You could get a good rumble out of me. You know, I came up in an era where the guns wasn't so prevalent. They were there, but they wasn't so prevalent. I would go the first week of school. I'm saying the ghetto would fight Woodland Avenue. Woodland Avenue would fight the Zip. The Zip would fight, you know what I mean, the Village. Like we fought every day. We fought every day to establish who's going to run the school for the year. You know what I mean? That's how we got it. Now, when I call the guy with the gun, he was essentially Casper or the boogeyman. Like, he didn't exist. It was like one dude had a gun. But if he had 50 guys, one dude had a gun, but he didn't come around often. So what you could do is, and this is the thing that I really plead, I mean, hopefully you got some young listeners out here. It's like, we fought, but we can live another day. We fought, and you could see another day. We would fight at the party this weekend, and then we wouldn't see the gang member, to the next party. But it was never, ever, like, we lived through it. I've lived through probably 20 gang wars. I was fighting 5. We had a free fall. I'm fighting 5 guys. Next thing you know, the rest of them trying to run, come at me. I turn around. I'm like, I can't take on 10. So I start running. I'm running top speed. But it just seemed like they was catching up with me. I think the fact that I was looking back at how many, that's the worst thing you do is look back. I look back and I'm seeing one close to me. I turn around, stop, and it's cracking. Boom! I hit him right. Listen to me. It dropped him. But his tooth went through my hand. But I'm just running. At that point, I'm rumbling like 3 or 4. I'm running like 3 or 4 at one time. So I'm just pop. I'm just cracking them. Next thing you know, I don't know what happened. I just know my knuckle was back here. So they had to put pins on my hands. Life just seemed like my father said, it seemed like everywhere I went, everything that I was around, everybody that I was around, it just seemed like I was always in trouble in that space of time from say 16 to 19, 20. So bad that on my 21st birthday, I literally stayed on my bed and kept the covers on my head all day. That I was so petrified that I was going to make it. I always said, everybody said, you're not going to make it to your 21st birthday. So cut to, we were gambling and he lost the money. So he was like, man, you're not going to get an opportunity to make my money back. I said, dude, I ain't got nothing for you. I was like, listen. I said, here, man, take $100. So he get the $100 and then he's like, all right, I'm back in. I'm saying, no, you're not back in. Because the rule of thumb is if you lend somebody some money that you were gambling with, don't gamble them. So he kept badgering me. Finally, I was like, all right, man, I'm going to get you out of here. Boom. So the point was 8. All right, it came. Boom. The point was 8. I hit it right out the door. Boom. Hit it. So he tried to step on the money and didn't want to pay me. So I was like, Dave. His name was Dave Dawson. I said, Dave, I'm telling you right now, take your foot off my money. What you going to do? I said, Dave, I'm going to tell you one more time. And I literally picked him up, took him in the air and body slammed him. Boom! What? Right? I body slammed him, right? Body slammed him. God rest his soul. He passed on. I body slammed him probably like 3 or 4 times. Everybody was so scared. It was like, Charlie, what the hell? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why would you do? I said, I don't care nothing about that. He's limping off. So he just wanted to get away from me because he was like, this nigga gonna kill me. He's wanting to get away. Next thing you know, let's cut to about a week later. I'm walking down the street. I just came from the pizza parlor. And I hear like a bicycle.
Right.
And then I hear somebody say, I got you now, big fella. And I knew the voice and I had my back turned. Next thing you know, I take off running. Pow! I take off running, right? And I get to the corner. It's a car at the corner. Now, mind you, this is summertime. All 4 windows are down. On my life, Carol, I jumped through the window. I said, go, he got a gun, go, he got a gun. Woo! Listen, can you imagine a 6'7" dude, 200-something pounds jumping in your window? I said, go, he got a gun. I jumped through the window. Next thing you know, okay, so they pull off. Thank God they just pulled off. He pulls off. He robbed me probably about 10 blocks. I said, I'm sorry, I apologize. I think I went in my pocket, I gave him a couple of dollars, yes, I'm saying. I said, I'm sorry, man. I said, I got some issue with this dude, yes, so I said, I'm gonna take care of him, I'm gonna handle it. So next thing you know, he didn't hang around the hood too much. But in this space and time, he was hanging out. And everybody was telling me, Dave was here, Dave was there, Dave was here, Dave was there. I was like, man, I can't take this. I can't take this. So I called my man, I said, yo, I need a gun. He's like, what you need a gun for? I said, man, Dave. He gave me the gun. I take it over to the ice cream parlor. Yes, I put it up in the drop ceiling. So maybe 3 or 4 days passed, and my man Wink hit me up. He said, you ain't gonna believe what across the street at the pizza bar. I said, I'm coming right down. I ran downstairs. I ran up in the drop ceiling, got the gun out. I put it in my pants. So I go like this. I go to pull it out. Boom! And it hit me. Because I was so nervous that I had my hand on the trigger, and it just went. It was automatic. It just hit me. Boom! It was like a ray, like a ring. It was like, it was like everything. I was like real fast. And it was boom, and it was like slow motion. And then all of a sudden, I got real hot. That's the terminology. I don't know if you heard it. You keep messing with me, he's with some hot itch, and it really is. It's hot. So I'm in there. Yes, I'm saying. I'm like, Wink, I think I shot myself. He's like, what? He's like, what? He's like, what? He's like, he came up. He started crying. And he was just freaking out. He was freaking out. He said, yo, don't down me. So he went to the phone. He called 911. He said, come here. He said, it was a shooting. It was a shooting. And how people die, Carol, is the ride to the hospital. That's how you die. They hit every bump that there is. Ooh. I'm talking about, and they're going fast as I don't know what. They're flying. I'm like, yo, and so I'm holding on a bench. I'm pushing my feet up against the bench, trying to stabilize my body because they're like throwing me all over the place. So we get to the hospital. Of course, they was able to, get me together. I lost 75 pounds in 12 hours. So
What?
I was vomiting blood, and blood was coming through my rectum because I shot myself in my abdomen. So I was literally like spitting out blood and through my rectum. This happened like 11 o'clock at night. So by the time 6 a.m. came around, I had lost 75 pounds, right? From that, I had they had clamps on my stomach. They wouldn't actually stitch me up, so I had like clamps. I had like 4 or 5 clamps across my stomach. So essentially, my stomach was still open, but they had these clamps that kind of like was locking it down. They had a colostomy as well. So I guess they kept it open so they could monitor it. So I had a colostomy on one side, and then in the middle of my stomach was probably the incision was probably like that big, literally that big, but it's probably about that wide, probably that long.
That's like what, 4 or 5 inches?
Easily.
Oh, wow.
Easily. So I'm laying in the hospital bed, and they were giving me Demerol shots. The Demerol shots won't only last for 3 hours, but they can only give me the shot every 4 hours. So it's one particular night, I'm in so much pain. It was like somebody was taking my stomach and pulling it on each side with a rake. I was so much pain. So I was begging the nurse. I said, nurse, I need some medicine. I was crying. I need some medicine. I said, fuck, my stomach about to fuck. They said, Mr. Austin, you gotta wait another hour. We can't give it to you. I was like, no, ma'am, I need it. Next thing you know, she says, Mr. Austin, we can't do it. I'm like, I'm at my wit's end. There's a cross at the end of my bed. I went there and I'm praying. I said, God, please, God, please, God, please, God, please, please, God, please. I said, if you take this pain off me, I will straighten my life up. I will turn my life around. Please, God, please, leave me. I'm telling you, as I'm sitting on this with you, it was like this ray came over my body. Like, it was just like this. That came over top of me. And I'm talking about the pain went completely away. Completely away. On my life, I would not lie to you, on my life, right? Wow. So at that moment, I had made a pact with God, right? Made a pact with, and I'm going to get to answering what you asked me why I do it. So at that moment, I had made a pact with God. I made a pact that I would straighten my life up and make anyone's lives that's a part of my life or that I come in contact with better. Mm-hmm. So if God granted me and he welcomed to enter into this contract with me, I might lie to you, I might lie to my mother, I might lie to my kid, I'm not lying to God. Mm-hmm. So although I didn't get it together right at that moment, I'd say over the next few months, over the next 2 years, I slowly but surely, gradually started changing my life. So it ain't even about man more so than it's about the responsibility that I asked for, mm-hmm. that I received, and the order that God gave me on my life. That's why I do what I do. Because again, it's what I have to do. So man and woman can't reward me and they can't hurt me.
Right. Charlie, I never, ever, as much as you and I have talked, mm-hmm. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's a story that needs to be shared.
Well, it's here. It's here.
You know, I love a good read.
Who is Charlie Mack?
I cannot wait.
Yes, it's done.
Because, I don't know that side of you.
Right.
How did you transition to the entertainment industry?
So in 1978, my uncle, he's like an uncle to me. He raised me. His name was Mack Covington. He was in a group called Philly Devotions. Okay. And Philly Devotion, and they disbanded. And then he started his own label called April Records. You may not know that I've been in this business since 1978. Essentially, I was an A&R as well as the street team, as we know what we call street team today. Right. So I was taking the records to record stores, taking them to clubs, taking them to the radio station. I did it all. Whatever needed to be done. I was working alongside the great Alan Lott, the Lott brothers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I was working alongside them because he had to hire them to promote the record. And I was going around, when they were going to clubs, I stand outside and even got our flyers. So again, what we know to be street team right now. That was my entry into the entertainment business. And from that day, I realized this is my calling. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
So from that moment, how did you get to Jeff and Will? How did you all meet?
My first group that I worked with, officially, I had a signing of a friend of ours that worked with us. His name was George. And remember the Cabbage Patch Dolls was really big?
Yes.
Okay, so we made a record called the Cabbage Patch Scratch. Okay.
Well, I remember. Wait, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was the record. The lyrics went. It said, New York is what you wanted to see. Bright lights and cars. Girl, I made you a star. Now you're so mean that you don't need me. You're going back, baby, to the Cabbage Patch, baby. I don't need that, baby. Yeah. Rest in peace to George, too. Rest in peace to George. Gorgeous George. That was my first record I worked. It was my first artist I worked with. That was 19, I want to say 81. That was my first. I worked with Mack first. So he had Naked to the World. He had Keep On Trucking, Baby I'm For Real. So we worked those records for about a year and a half. Then we did George. And then from George, I started working with, Daryl Jones. So he was in a group called G5. Okay, G5 had the record. They did the record, the Sixers record, 454. It was a theme record for the Sixers. And so that was my first group that I had worked with outside. That was, quote unquote, my first security job, if you will.
Okay.
So I started doing that. And so I got with them, and it really was like, okay, I can do this. I could probably do this as a career too. So then I went from an A&R / street team to / bodyguard. So G5 was the first group I worked with. Then I went from there to working with, I met Bobby Kahn through Mack at WHAT. And then I started working with him, promoting, doing, again, street team work, giving out flyers, helping him market and promote and produce the concerts. So the first concert I did under him was Roxanne Shante, George Clinton, and Dougie Fresh at the Mann Music Center.
Oh,
right?
my Lord.
Then from there, I used to go to Al's place on 52nd and Parkside. And I started working with MC Breeze. I met MC Breeze, and from me meeting him, I pretty much kind of gave myself a job. He never hired me. I just kind of gave myself a job. I just started picking up his records, picking up his equipment, started carrying them to the car. And before you know it, I'm saying, we was crew. And Breeze was actually the first one that actually named me Charlie Mack first Out Da Limo. So he had a record called Yo Lady Who. And the record go, first out the limo was Charlie Mack. Bah, 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 bah. My man Chili Will chilling in the back.
Yeah.
Bah, 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 bah. So he did it. From there, I started dating Mimi. And then from there, I got Mimi to go to Butterball. God rest his soul. I said, Mimi, we should start, because B had Street Beat over at Pound 89.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we got to start a rap show, right? So I said, why don't you talk to Butter and see if he'll let you do it? I knew Mimi, he was his little baby. So I said, Mimi, you should talk to him, because of course at that point, DS was an urban contemporary station.
Right.
I was like, Mimi, we can do it on the weekends. We can do, I said, we got to be like the answer to Lady B. You know what I'm saying? I love her, but we got to be the answer to Lady B. So I was like, she can't be the only game in town. So she went and talked to Butter. Butter said, yeah, we can do it. We launched the show, and from there, I had started, and Will actually, from Matt's Ice Cream, Will's father was an ice man. He was an ice refrigerating man. So he would come. Will would deliver ice to the ice cream parlor. So I forged friendships with him through that. You know what I mean? Being on the scene of music, I started befriending all the different, from Robbie B to Grandmaster Nell to Cosmic Kev to Gary O to Grandmasters of Funk, MC Babe to Disco Rat to Bobby Dance. I just started forging relationships with all these people. You know what I'm saying? And so from me dealing with Mimi, I said, well, now we're bringing these acts up in here. Now they're playing these acts music. We should find out if they could do some promo shows for us. And she was like, yeah, I'll ask Butter. So one of the first acts that we had got, I think was, I want to say it was Roxanne Shante. Probably Roxanne Shante.
Wow.
So got her to do a promo gig for me. And she brought Biz with her this one year. And then a few years later, that's what I'm saying, I hired Biz again to do a show for me. And then Biz brought this rapper from Brooklyn with him, yes, I'm saying. He asked me when he finished up the show, he said, well, could you mind if I bring he asked the audience, I got my homie with me, do you mind if he come up and do something? So the homie came over the stage and he freestyled and everything. He did this freestyle, Vex, something Kotex, and threw a Kotex out in the audience, right? Then he went from there. He stopped that, and then he went and he dropped his record. This was literally like 6 months before it came out. And the record was RAW, a terrorist, here to bring trouble to phony MC. So I bought that building. That building's on 57th and Woodland. I used to do parties there. It was called the Charlie Mack First Annual Husky Convention. It was May 7th, 1987. And from there, Jeff came to the party that night. Me and Jeff went to Bartram High School together. Jeff came to the party that night, and he pretty much came to me and asked me, you know what I mean? He said, I got a group, man. Would you mind working with us? And I had 2 cases at the time. I didn't go to jail, but I had 2 open cases. So I was like, and I said to him, I was like, work with you how? He's like, you do security. And then I ran through my mind. I was like, where do you get that from? But I thought about it. Any act that I would bring in Philly, like Dougie Fresh and Biz and Shantae and them, I would double as security, if you will. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have to hire security because I was always the big man on campus. So I would just kind of double. So Jeff and Will would see me with them thinking I was their security, but I was the promoter.
Wow.
So when he asked me would I do security for him, it was at the time when I really, really needed it because I had got locked up 2 times and I didn't want a third arrest.
Right.
Because if I got a third arrest, that would have been a federal case, and I didn't want that. So I said, let me see. I'm supposed to go to court. This was May. I had to go to court in July. I said, let me see what happens with my case yesterday. I'll let you know. So I talked to my lawyer, and he said, I think you'll be fine. You can go ahead and get your passport and everything. I think you'll be fine. So July 1st and July 1st, I beat one case July 1st. The second case, I beat July like 28th or something like that. Okay. So I beat both cases. I called Jeff up and said, yo, I'm ready. So he had JL come to get me, take me down to the state building to get my passport. And that was our beginning. And we went to, the first trip I took with them was to London, and we did He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So I was in London for, my first time being on a plane, I went to London for 30 days. Me, Jeff, Will, JL.
You know what? I talked to Jeff. I was asking him about his experience with COVID-19 and everything that he went through. And he said he was so delirious at one point that he texted you.
He did.
And he didn't remember doing so.
Yeah, he did.
But I'm happy to say, he's doing well now. The one thing we haven't talked about is who's on your radar.
I have a group of kids. They're like the modern day Crisscross. Then I got a country rapper named B Mazy.
Oh wow, nice. So anything else going on?
Please like and subscribe my YouTube channel, which is First Out Da Limo 215. So FIRSTOUT DALIMO 215. That's my YouTube channel.
Charlie, congrats on everything. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Love you, Carol.
I love you more, Charlie. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, then tell a friend and tell them where to find us. Also, be sure to check out our archive of prior interviews on our Conversations Inside the Music YouTube channel. And let's stay connected. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you too can join the conversation. See you next time on another episode of Conversations Inside the Music.
Conversations Inside the Music with Carol Riddick.